you live ECU?
R.
Do you bleed purple and gold? Are you ready to hoist the colors?
Hoist the colors!
It's time for the most in-depth look into the world of ECU athletics. Welcome to Hoist the Colors with your host, Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game. Watch the show live on Facebook and at 943thegame.com. Here's Stephen Igo.
This time tomorrow, we'll know, or at least have a good idea if East Carolina baseball is in good shape or bad shape at the conference tournament. We're less than 24 hours away from the Pirates throwing out the first pitch of their first game in the American Conference Tournament. We'll have our live watch-along, 9 a.m., bright and early at our 94.3 The Game YouTube, Facebook, and HTC Twitter pages, so tune in for that. Today we'll be previewing what to expect from the Pirates, also the latest on the conference tournament landscape across the country, how the bubble watch has impacted ECU, and the American Conference Tournament underway. We saw a game unfold last night, or yesterday afternoon, the ninth inning, where FAU blew a one-run lead in the ninth. Clearwater Sun playing a role in that as Wichita State came back to eliminate the Owls. So we'll get into the American Conference Tournament. We'll visit live with Dylan Johnson, ECU baseball play-by-play voice, live from Clearwater. He'll join us in segment 2. We'll get the latest on what he's hearing as the Pirates get ready for their opener. Still no official word on who they'll start, Ethan Norby or Ryan Towers. We'll ask Dylan if he's heard anything there, but they may hold that decision until they know who they're playing. Rice and Wichita State going at it today, 1 o'clock. Winner faces ECU at 9 a.m. on Friday morning. The chat is open on YouTube, Facebook, and X. If you got something to say, drop it there. We'll get to it over the course of the next hour. We're going to talk a lot of baseball, but we're also going to talk some football, because the win totals for the American Conference are out, and excited to see and to dive into these numbers. We'll tell you what we're leaning over or under on ECU, and we'll talk about that number here in a little bit. We have Philip Pilkington back in the 94.3 The Game studios. Philip, how is it going on this Thursday? I know we're into baseball mode, but I was telling you pre-show, man, once we start getting some more data, I can always talk football any time of the year, and we're closing in on that 100-day mark till kickoff.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. It's always good to talk football. It obviously is my favorite sport. So I'm looking forward to it. As to how I'm doing, well, ECU, 3 less quad 2 wins, and I'm not even going to blame the Florida Sun. I'm going to blame the guy who threw home and made a terrible throw to the plate that allowed the go-ahead run to get in scoring position. And that was the same thing that Coach Dugan was yelling at Ellen for when she started crying in the League of Their Own. Now, it was the tying run that got in scoring position, not the leading run. But, if you watch the League of Their Own, why are you throwing home if you're not going to get the play, if you're going to allow the single to advance on a throw? I mean, just disappointing. And now FAU's RPI at like 127. So thank you, Owls, for not being wise. Come on, live up to your name. What the hell?
Yeah, it's the little things, man. It's the little things. And, the Sun double to start the ninth, whether it be lack of communication or just lack of being able to see the ball, that was the thing that got it rolling. And then it unfolded from there. Wichita State comes back, and they have the worst RPI in the tournament field, by the way. So, of course, they advance, which is not good for the league, but, hey, good for Wichita State. Big news, by the way, out of Raleigh. Elliott Avent has announced his retirement, and so we'll maybe share some thoughts on that here over the show. 30-year run at NC State. So big news, whether you like him or don't like him, still a heck of a job he did in Raleigh with NC State's program. So we'll get to that at some point today or tomorrow. All right, we have win totals out from the American Conference, and we'll just start with East Carolina. 7.5 is the number. ECU has won, and this is a regular season number. ECU has won 8 games in 2025, and then they won 7 during the regular season in 2024. Now, of course, they won 8 and they won 9, respectively, because of the bowl victories. But overall, the regular season win total are the numbers we're talking about here. So ECU comes in at 7.5. I want to say this was the same number it was last year. It was either 6.5 or 7.5. I do think this is a sign of respect for what Blake Carroll and his coaching staff, these players have built. Now, obviously, part of it is the schedule. We'll dive into that here in a minute. And you can also, if you're into this sort of thing, you can go on DraftKings and you can either bet 6.5 or 8.5, but the actual number is set at 7.5. So what that means is Vegas is expecting most likely ECU to be a 7 or 8 win team, with kind of all things being equal if things go according to plan given the schedule. So obviously you can bet the 8.5 over for some major juice, or you could bet under 6.5 and get plus money there if you think ECU is going to have an underwhelming season. If you want to go over 8.5, you get plus 215. So nice return there on your investment potentially. But we'll get more into those numbers here in a minute. First, we'll start just overall thoughts, Philip. 7.5, is this about what you expected?
Yeah, I think so. This conference, we were talking about it pre-show, really wide open, a lot of good teams. You've got Memphis on the schedule. You go to West Point, always tough to play up in West Point and late in the season. You've got South Florida on the schedule. So there's the 3 really tough ones right there. It seems like Temple's on the come up. And then obviously going to Tuscaloosa is going to be tough. And then that just back-to-back against App and ODU is going to be tough. Right? So those are the games that you could potentially lose, I think, where the team actually comes in and beats you. Right? Anybody else you lose to, you lost it. They didn't win it kind of deal. So if you go about 500 in those games, 7, 8 wins, right? So that's kind of how you have to project it when you're Vegas. You're going to win the games you're supposed to win, and then you're going to go 500-ish in the games that you're supposed to be in a toss-up. So, yeah, I think it's a good number. I like where it's at. Wish I could actually bet 7.5 because I don't know how good I feel about taking 8.5. I feel decent about it, but at least it's plus money. But I'm sure it's pretty crap odds at 6.5. So, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. And, yeah, 6.5, if you're going over 6.5, you're minus 230. So, I mean, you're basically getting nothing back almost. It's almost a guarantee. It's basically not even worth betting per se. Under 6.5 plus 125. So, and as I look at it, here's what I wrote in my article, Philip, and I struggled with this a little bit because it is May 21st, and you brought up a good point. Like, obviously, if you're Vegas, you're counting Bama as a loss. Like, you're just, you're throwing that in. He's probably going to be a mid-20s point underdog. I wrote in my article that as of today, Pirates are probably favored on paper against App State, North Carolina Central, Rice, UAB, Temple, Charlotte, FAU. That's 7. Now, I wrote games against Old Dominion. I struggled with ODU. I said games against Old Dominion, Memphis, USF, and Army would project as toss-ups. So that's 7, maybe should be wins, 4 toss-ups, and the Bama game counted as a loss. Old Dominion, I looked at their total. I think they're projected at 7.5 as well, their win total, so they're expected to be pretty good again. The Sun Belt, that's on the road. You do have more resources than ODU's program, but I feel like that's a game that's tricky. And then we know the history with App State. So even though I'm favoring ECU in that game, if I'm Vegas, that's a game ECU's got to go out and prove to me they can win. And then I expect FAU and Temple to be better, even though I would project ECU to win those games. So I don't know. The biggest one I struggled with there was ODU. I just don't know what to expect from a Sun Belt team that has its head coach back, but lost coordinators, lost quarterback. Kind of in a similar situation to ECU, honestly, in that they had their head coach back, but they lost a lot. So, and that's going to be a big game for them. Every time ECU goes there, it's a dogfight. I expect that to be the same this year.
Yeah, the interesting thing with them is what are they able to learn the first 2 weeks? So, ECU will be coming off let's just call it similar opponent, right, in Appalachian State, where you're playing a team that you feel like you're going to be in a tough, close football game. Old Dominion. You open with Norfolk State. What are you learning against Norfolk State? Nada.
Not a lot.
You go to Blacksburg. Now, Virginia Tech, not great, but we'll see how the James Franklin thing is playing out. And what happens if you do go in there and you lose by 30? How much do you learn when you lose by 30? You learn things always as coaches, but do you learn how to play in late game scenarios together? Do you learn what type of play calls you trust your quarterback in a 2-minute offense? What kind of blocking scheme do you want to go with in a 4-minute offense? And I'm not saying ECU is necessarily going to be put in those situations against App. You don't know, but you're going to be in a dogfight, play in and play out. Can you say that for Old Dominion? Maybe with Virginia Tech, but I mean, they'll be rolling in their 2s and 3s by early second half against the Spartans week 1. So, that I guess benefit ECU, right? But also, man, it's so hard early in the season in the era we live in, and then to throw in, like you said, that both teams lost both coordinators. I don't know. I mean, I think the longer we sit here and try and talk about it, the more just word salad and talking in circles we're going to do.
The one advantage ECU might have in that game is that they did poach the offensive line coach from ODU, and Teron Williams, cornerbacks coach, was there a couple of years ago. So maybe you have at least some insight, though, again, different coordinators, but at least with the head coach in place, you will have some similar philosophies that carry over. All right, let's check the chat here. We'll give our take. Kevin Kozart says over 7.5. Tim Smith, he's taking the over. Polak says he's taking over 7.5. Anything less would be underachieving with the current roster and with Coach Blake Harrell at the helm. And Kenny Curlin says ODU will at least be a 17-point win for the Pirates. So Kenny Curlin's always on the positive side, so no surprises there. So as I'm looking at it, over under 7.5. Philip, I feel if it's me today and I had to put money on it, and I'm not going to, but if I had to, I would take the over. I'm looking at the line right now, and minus 105 is the number for over 7.5, and minus 125 for under 7.5. So both of them are minus money, but basically Vegas is saying you actually have less return if you go under 7.5. I'm a little surprised at that, but I guess it's just so much unknown with ECU. The path to 7, I think you got to go at least 4 wins in your first 6, and then after that you find 3 more. I think that's very doable. So I'm going to go over. Obviously, a lot comes down to the quarterback, offensive line play, but I feel pretty good about the over of 7.5 today, just based on what we know in mid-May and barring any major injuries. I feel good about this team reaching 8 wins. How about you, Philip?
I feel great about them reaching 8 wins, Steven. I think worst case scenario, you lose 2 prior to league play. Obviously, probably losing Tuscaloosa, drop 1 either to App or ODU. And then I think this team can go 6-2 in league play. I think they can go 7-1, but I mean, even 6-2, you lose maybe at home to South Florida, and then some combination of at Memphis, at Army. And then there you go, 8 wins, 8-4. I like the over.
If you go over 8.5 wins at plus 215, I mean, I think there's definitely a path to 9. Do you have to go 5-1 in the first 6 to get to 9? Just given the back half of the schedule. I mean, I guess if you go 5-1 the first 6, you're probably looking at that 6-2 league mark, which would get you to 9 ultimately, because that would be Alabama would be your only non-conference loss. That'd be 3-1 non-conference, 6-2. So you'd have to minimum go 5-1 first 6, because the Memphis game, even Charlotte on the road, I think will be trickier than most realize. And Army obviously will be tough, and then USF. I mean, I think you got to go 5-1, but there is a path there, and I don't hate the potential bet. It's just how much do you believe in these quarterbacks?
Yeah, and how much do you just, like Coach Logan says, believe in college athletes 19 to 22 years old to go out there week in and week out and do what the hell you tell them to do, right? Steven, is there a path to 9-3, losing 2 of your first 6? I'm going to go technically yes. It's an uphill climb. It's not likely. I would be shocked, but it's not impossible. You do get South Florida at home. I don't think we win that game, but if you do, that means all you got to do theoretically is split Memphis and Army. I think it's doable. I think Blake Harrell's, history against the option helps. I think Army and Navy sometimes do fall off at the end of the year because they play such a physical brand and they're banged up and they're starting to look forward to the, to America's game. So, I don't feel good about it, but yeah, I mean, you want to go 5-1 the first half to win 9 games, but yeah, it's not impossible.
All right, I know we got to get to Dylan here in a few minutes. I did want to run over some of the rest of the win totals from the American because I do think the American is fascinating. You look at the odds, Navy is the favorite to win the league, UTSA second. And a lot of this is the imbalanced schedules. South Florida is the highest win total in the league at 8.5. And that is because they play absolutely nobody non-conference wise. They play like FIU, Kent State, an FCS team, and somebody else who I cannot remember. But they play nobody. They do have a tough conference schedule. They have to go to ECU. They have to go to UTSA. They play Memphis and Tulane as well. So looking at it, South Florida is the highest win total at 8.5. Then you have 6 teams that are at 7.5. ECU, Army, Memphis, Navy, Tulane, UTSA. North Texas at 6.5, FAU, Temple, and Tulsa at 5.5. Rice and UAB at 3.5, and Charlotte bringing up the rear, 2.5 win total there. What I take away, and if you look at the DraftKings conference champion odds, I think ECU's 5th or 6th, but like all the numbers are similar. They're all like in that from that plus 300 to plus 700 range, and then there's a big drop off after that. But I think every team here listed at 7.5. Maybe you can throw North Texas in there, probably not with all the turnover there, but USF, ECU, Army, Memphis, Navy, Tulane, UTSA. To me, you can make an argument for any of those teams being the best in the league, depending on how this breaks, and that's what makes it fascinating. And also, the unfortunate side is the imbalanced schedules, Philip. Like, we'll dive into each team's schedule at some point in June, probably, but it just creates a lot of uneven playing field, honestly, with the way this league's set up.
Yeah. You don't like it? Go back to the days when there was 8 teams in every conference and you played 7 league games, which, I mean, sometimes I wish we could. That's unfortunate that we have to live in that era, but at the end of the day, you got to win the games that are put in front of you. And, Steven, you mentioned all those teams at 7.5. I almost wonder if you take the over on every team, I think you might net in the black. Because I think that's a lot of 8 and 4. Yeah, I think those teams are going to kind of beat up on each other, but I do think there is a fall off after those top few teams. You mentioned there's 5 or 6 really good teams in this league, and I think there's 7 pretty crappy teams in this league. So, FAU's probably on the come up, Temple's probably on the come up, but still I think, they could pull an upset here or there, but overall you feel good about those teams. Now you have to look at their out-of-conference schedule, which, by the way, South Florida, your other one, you were right on all 3. The 4th one is Bowling Green. So 2 teams out of the MAC, Delaware State and FIU. Good job, Bulls. Way to make it tough on yourselves there the first month of the season.
Well, they went from playing like the toughest schedule in the conference to playing nobody. Because remember last year they played Florida, Miami, and I think somebody else good. And like now they're like, all right, let's go back to playing nobody. Like, find a balance, man. That's probably another reason why Hartline took that job. He looked at the schedule and was like, gosh, well, this will be easy. So
yeah, he get his feet wet early.
Yeah, conference schedule not as easy. All right, we got plenty of time to talk football. I know we got some comments as well. We'll try to circle back to those segment 3. So appreciate everybody's participation there. We got to get a break in, though, so we can get to Dylan Johnson on the other side, ECU Baseball play-by-play voice. He'll join us next.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be your trusted choice.
Pirates play here.
Time to play the game!
This is Hoist the Colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
Welcome back in. Segment 2 here. Hoist the Colors on a Thursday, May 21st. We're a day away from ECU taking on an opponent to be named later, either Wichita State or the Rice Owls. It'll be a 9 a.m. first pitch on Friday. Dylan Johnson on 94.3 The Game. He'll be on the call. He joins us now live from Clearwater. Dylan, how are things down in sunny Florida?
They're good, Stephen. Good to be back on the show here. But weather's perfect down here. Beach time is pristine.
Yeah, I was going to ask how much time. We talked about it. You had this trip to Boca and now to Clearwater. So we talked about the sunscreen, how much you'd have to take. So how have you tried to balance the beach time, but also staying safe down there?
Well, thankfully, we only played one day game really in Boca, so that helped. And then we had a nice little canopy up over our head. And outside of actual game days, I just avoid the highest UV index part of the day. Basically, I'm watching the weather app to be like, okay, it's safe to go out for me right now.
There you go. You got to be strategic with it. So the conference tournament, I did see, I think it was Mike Kennedy who calls the action for Wichita State. He tweeted his displeasure about the positioning for the broadcast booth. I don't know if you guys have I assume you'll have a similar setup. Do you know what it'll be like? I guess you called this tournament last year, obviously, for ECU. He said, quote, "Here is our broadcast position for today's game. This league wants to portray itself as big time, worst position I've ever done a baseball game from." And it shows a picture of him, not even at the first base line. It's him down the right field line. So I'm not asking you to rag on the conference here, Dylan. I don't want to put you in a bad position, but I am curious, just seeing that tweet. Obviously, Mike's been doing it a long time. What's been your experience down there as far as calling games at the conference tournament?
I'm slightly, I guess, a little surprised to hear that. I mean, I don't really have much to complain about it there with just, the places that we go to throughout the year. It's pretty nice in comparison to that. So you've got a spacious booth to yourself. You've got the bathrooms right outside the door. Yeah, it's not a, direct behind home plate, kind of like we're close to at Clark LeClaire, and you can have kind of the sun, depending on the time of your game, right in your face. But like I said, there's plenty of worse places we've been to this year, honestly.
So not the best angle, but a pretty good setup. That's what it appears.
Yeah.
Okay. Dylan Johnson with us, ECU baseball play-by-play voice again. It'll be 9 a.m. on Friday. So let's talk about this team, Dylan. I mean, it's just been, as you know, roller coaster, man, up and down, and they play their best ball maybe at the end of the year when it's hot, when it's warm. And so what did you see just click at FAU to allow them to really play a clean brand of baseball and sweep the house?
I think the biggest number one was just the continued success of the pitching staff. I mean, for us to be able to roll out a trio of lefties, Towers, Norby, and Payne. And, when it gets to the end of the weekend there and Val, our SID, is wondering about who she's going to submit for Conference Pitcher of the Week, Conference Player of the Week, because you can only submit one, and we're all kind of going back and forth between, like, I mean, you really could have submitted any one of the three starting pitchers that we ran out there. I mean, every single one of them was dominant for the most part against FAU. So I think starts and ends there, which has been just a strong point for the year, for the entire year, even despite all the injuries. But I just think the offense was a little bit more consistent, just putting pressure on FAU all weekend long. I mean, had really strong offensive days, but even the first two games, I think they got up near, or it maybe got to double-digit runners left on base, which is, another good indicator there. I mean, you'd like to hit at a higher clip in those situations, but the flip side is also to say that they were putting pressure on them a lot. Could have been several more runs scored in those games, which I think better reflects how well the offense was playing.
Cliff Godwin mentioned Monday, Dylan, on our show that he just felt the synergy was there from the get-go kind of on this trip. And, of course, like, kind of easy to say that after a sweep, but he obviously has a great feel for those things going into a series. Just curious, you're around the team on the road. I assume you've been traveling with them some. So what have you noticed just, when they go on these trips, you're on the road for a week, 2 weeks. What have you seen from the guys, off the field and when they're out practicing?
I mean, I would definitely say the energy around the team is good. It was something, not just, Cliff referred to it, but Coach O and I were talking about a pregame going all the way back to Thursday before the FAU series opener. And he kind of looks at me and he goes, this is a really good round of batting practice. And I mean, usually you've got some are great, some are not so great, but he was like, this is up and down the lineup. Like everybody has some pep in their step pregame, like they're locked in and they're having a great round of batting practice. And then it translated to the game there, and obviously winning helps, but just the guys being around each other this week. Although I would say that's never really been something all year, which Cliff kind of alludes to. It's never really been something that has faltered or you've worried about, like watching the guys interact. Nobody's ever kind of in a doom and gloom mood around this team, especially with some of the personalities they've got and some guys that just kind of keep team morale high by their nature. But the play for sure was really good. I don't know what it is about this time of year or this team kind of gets that back up against the wall feeling. But, so far we're looking at 2 years in a row of them getting up for it.
6 Pirates named to the all-conference team, Dylan. And, look, I've made my thoughts clear on it. I'll let you you take the floor. What did you like about the all-conference team, and what surprised you from an ECU perspective?
I mean, I think the big surprise, obviously, right, is Jack Herring not getting first team there. That just doesn't sit right. I get he had some pretty stiff competition in the outfield in the American Conference. JP Head, Drew Detlefson, I can understand those. Thought 100% he should have been in over Jason Wax of Tulane. No offense to him, but I just thought Jack objectively had a better year than him. You got to find a way to reward a guy who was the most consistent and best player on your regular season co-champion team. Everybody else from there, I felt pretty good about it. It was good to see Ethan Rose get acknowledged on the all-freshman team there too. That was one that I don't know I was necessarily expecting or not, but it was good to see him get that recognition because he's definitely deserved it. But the rest of the picks between, Burris, Webb, Norby, and so on, those were all kind of no-brainers.
Do you expect, Jack isn't the type of guy who's going to come out and say something, but expect a little bit more flair from him and maybe even Davin Whitaker, like Davin being left off entirely. And you mentioned it. The outfield was legit. Like the outfield competition in the American was probably the strongest. But I guess they're just going to try to let their bats do the talking. Have you heard any discussion about how the team feels about it at all?
No, I haven't yet. But I mean, Davin Whitaker, I don't think it would surprise anybody, based on his personality, to see him kind of come out and play like he's got something to say about it. I know Jack is more reserved, a little bit less expressive than Davin, so I would be a little bit surprised to see him kind of like openly playing as if he's got that chip on his shoulder. But I mean, between him and the coaching staff, I'm sure it'll be kind of used as a motivator.
Any discussion yet? And this is probably something, Dylan, they would hold till they know the opponent. But are you hearing if they'll go Towers or Norby on Friday? Because, I mean, I think you can make a good case for either.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything to think that they were going to switch it up now. It's just been what's working for so long. And then, trying to look ahead, which, we never want to do. But, one eye towards the next round, say, you get by Rice there. Well, then you get to UTSA, and, Norby obviously had really great success against UTSA this year. So that's just even more reason to not switch it up if you can potentially set that matchup up again.
It's not going to happen, Dylan. Remember, when you were walking out of UTSA, they said, thank God we never have to see that guy again. It can't happen. Come on, Dylan.
Yeah, and then it's going to be like a, Undertaker meme or something. It's, here's Norby back again to see you.
No doubt. Well, are you watching? Are you totally locked into all these American Conference tournament games from the hotel room, Dylan? Are you watching any other action? What are you kind of doing to pass the time? Because I mean, we haven't had. I mean, for as long as the season's been, we get into the routine of like, all right, game every other day. We've had a lot of downtime here with the Campbell cancellation and now this time off, which is a good thing for the team, obviously. But how do you handle it as a broadcaster?
Yeah, watch other games, from not only the other teams here in the American who obviously we might play, and you want to see their games and see how they're doing and all that and so forth. And keeping up with scores, watching scores as well of, other teams that could have an impact on ECU, just what they do from a resume or an at-large standpoint. But just, like any broadcaster, flip on games, watch, I like to listen to different broadcasts and see what they're doing that I like, that I don't like. So almost that's like my watching film, so to speak.
Hey, that's the best way to do it, man. Learn from others and continue to grow in that role, pick up little things here or there. How much have you been able to pick up about a 9 a.m. broadcast? Have you – I can't remember last year, did they go – I guess it was more afternoon games. So have you done a game this early before?
I don't think so. Yeah, we got pretty lucky last year with it was all late afternoon, really, even not even just like almost evening time starts all last year until the championship game. So I don't think I've ever had a 9 a.m. start that I can remember. I know that we will be leaving the hotel at like 6:25, 6:30-ish to go over to the ballpark. At least last I checked, that was what the kind of schedule looked like for us. So it's got to be a completely different routine going into this one. This will be, like you guys talked about, your watch-along routine is going to be completely different this go-around.
Yeah, we're not used to going bagels and early look. There's going to be some mimosas on the menu as well, so we're going to have some fun on our watch-along stream. So we'll keep it PG still. But yeah, all right. So be real. How many alarms do you have to set, Dylan, for a 6:25 departure? I am not a morning person. I talked about that. I'd probably at least set 5 or 6 to be safe. What about you?
That's good. You could put over under 4.5, I think. Look, I'm like you. I'm not a morning person at all. I'm far from it. I should be a little more used to it. I feel like just about every road trip until this one to come to Boca this year have all pretty much been leaving Clark LeClaire at like 5:30 or 6 a.m. ish. So should be a little bit more used to it, but I can never get myself to do it. I'm a night owl at heart. So I'm going to have to put every alarm I can on my phone, get coffee as soon as I possibly can in that morning.
That's the way to do it. All right, final thing. I'm putting you on the spot here. Give me one position player and one pitcher that has to deliver for the Pirates to make a run, hopefully win another conference tournament title for ECU.
All right, I'll go pitcher first. I'm going to go with Ryan Towers here. You could say it for all of them, but I think that, you guys have discussed it, right? The best way for ECU with all the injuries and stuff that we've dealt with, like obviously you could make it easier on yourself by going through without a loss, play as minimal games as possible. Well, that first one is kind of that all critical one there. So I'm going to say for Ryan Towers, assuming he takes the start against whoever we play, Rice or Wichita, tomorrow morning, that he gets us off on that good start, gets us into Saturday without a loss, and allows us to kind of keep on schedule and still kind of hold an advantage over the other teams from a pitching standpoint. Offensively here, I'm going to go Braden Burris. I know he's responded well. There's a lot we could go with, but he's responded well to be kind of moved down to that 3 spot in the lineup. But I have to think that he kind of, the team can go as he goes at times. So I would love to see him kind of catch fire like he was at the end of last season and in last year's postseason, and start racking up some 2 and 3 hit games.
All right, he's Dylan Johnson, play-by-play voice, ECU Baseball. You can hear him on the call. 9 a.m. Friday, and hopefully not another Friday game. Hopefully 10 a.m. Saturday if the Pirates take care of business. But, Dylan, we appreciate it, man. We'll connect next week. Hopefully we're talking about a NCAA tournament team, but a lot to be decided between now and then, man. But enjoy the rest of your weekend and week in Clearwater.
All right, and enjoy your watch-along. Everybody stay safe.
We'll try. We'll see if we can we'll keep it PG as possible. Appreciate you, Dylan. We got to get a break in. We'll come back. We got some more comments to get to about our ECU football win total. And also, if you're looking at the at-large picture, a not-so-great development in one of the other conferences as Mercer, a projected at-large team, is upset by the Citadel. So we'll break down that situation, also talk about the rest of the conference tournament picture. After this is Hoist the Colors.
You know what the problem is with standard belts? Usually you have to choose between too tight or the opposite, too loose. But with Anson Belt and Buckle, you don't have to choose. We got rid of the holes and instead have a track system designed for micro-adjustability. That way you can enjoy a perfect fit every time. Anson Belt and Buckle. Find your perfect fit today.
Healthwise Pharmacy rounds the bases with all of your infusion, retail, compounding, and medical equipment needs. Locally owned and operated by pharmacist Marcy Parker, Healthwise has grown to be your most trusted provider for infusion services. Currently providing in-home or on-site infusions in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia. Visit Healthwise Pharmacy at 615B South Memorial Drive or call 252-295-0059 to speak to a patient service representative to find the option that best suits your needs.
The best burgers around. Everyone loves a thick, juicy, and fresh burger. Tiebreakers does real burgers better than anybody. And don't forget about the cheese sticks, fresh salads, and more. So don't just go to any burger-themed restaurant chain. It's time to break the chain and eat local. Tiebreakers, burgers and sports at its best.
Go Pirates! Arg!
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation from a real person? Right. That's what's so nice about Phelps Chevrolet. After more than 50 years serving our community, Phelps remains family-owned and operated. Mike, Daryl, Wave, West, Alan, and Clay deliver hometown service and integrity, same as always. They share your experience, they share your values, and they are ready to help with any motoring need. Come get you one.
Daughtridge Gas and Oil has been your dependable propane supplier for 95 years. Their trained technicians can service and properly install all your propane and natural gas appliances. Plus, Daughtridge Gas and Oil is your backyard expert with fire pits, grills, smokers, and more, including quality outdoor furniture at their Greenville Patio and Hearth Shop at 1901 Charles Boulevard. Go by and see the knowledgeable staff at Daughtridge Gas and Oil for propane delivery or call 756-1345.
You have a choice when you invest in insurance, and when you choose First State Insurance Advisors, you're working with people you can trust. Clark Stallings has deep ties in the community. His team, including Keaton Smith, Regina Asby, Phil Leva, Max Joyner Jr., Max Joyner III, and Ginger Smith, provides knowledgeable and professional advice. First State Insurance Advisors is an independent insurance agency. They offer all types of personal insurance as well as various types for business. Call or email First State Insurance Advisors today. We want to be...
Get ready to board.
We're live with Steve and Igo on 94.3 The Game. Now, back to Hoist the Colors.
We're back in Hoist the Colors segment 3 here. Appreciate Dylan Johnson for joining us, ECU Baseball play-by-play voice. We'll jump back into the comments here in a little bit, talk some football, but let's get a conference tournament update. And big news out of the SoCon, if you're on bubble watch like ECU is, if they don't win the conference tournament. The Citadel, the 5th seed in the SoCon, upset top-seeded Mercer this morning, 9-2. They also scored, I think, 20-something runs the other night. Johnny Robertson says the Citadel beats Mercer. They have scored 43 runs in 3 games in 2 days. Mercer plays Wofford in an elimination game at 4 p.m. So this was looking like a one-bid league most likely. Western Carolina was kind of on the bubble, but probably on the outside looking in. Mercer is going to have to win 3 straight elimination games just to make the conference championship now in this double elimination format. So I'm expecting a stolen bid here in the SoCon, Philip, which, we weren't going to go through this entire thing without a stolen bid or 2 or 3. I mean, usually there's, a handful. There's been maybe less in recent years due to the conferences changing the formats to protect the higher seeds, but this is a development. You also have Charleston Southern playing High Point later in the Big South. Ideally, you need High Point to win that. There's been some good things happening, too. Like Vanderbilt and Kentucky kind of picked each other off. They're both on the bubble. Definitely Kentucky on the bubble. Vandy's probably done. And obviously NC State losing. So it's been a mixed bag, but I think it could be worse.
Yeah, what ended up happening to Michigan last night? I forgot to look. I went to bed.
Michigan, I believe, won last night. Although it was at 10 p.m. I might be even thinking of that.
Yeah, dude, that was like a 10:30 start. They lost to
Michigan lost
the Huskies. But I think, is that tournament double elimination though?
It is double elimination once it gets to this stage. So
yeah,
Michigan,
they got Ohio State tonight at 7:00. Yep. So go Buckeyes.
Yep, so they're 1-1 now in the Big Ten. They beat Rutgers, I think, in the elimination round, and now they're in the double elimination. So, Ohio State, Michigan. There's no baseball rivalry quite like it, Philip. Especially when they're playing in Omaha, Nebraska. I expect at least 33 people there.
Reports have come out that it could be upwards of 34 people attending this game. I think there's some people who've moved to Omaha from both of those places. So, 34, the projected number. Also, though, speaking of which, last night, things not going our way, Virginia Tech was able to, despite going down 4-0 at the top of the first to Notre Dame, the Hokies didn't win that one. That almost probably guarantees them a spot in the NCAA tournament. We needed them to go over as well.
Yeah, they're probably in, and I think they play North Carolina today. If they win today, they're definitely in, and maybe a loss gets them on the bubble. And again, so much of this is dependent upon what happens with the other stolen bids. NC State 48 in RPI is the Elliott Avent announcement, and again, I'm not trying to take away from Elliott Avent. His career has been phenomenal, and I think we'll reflect on that. More so once we know for sure he's done. But, is this announcement at this time, is this a cry to try to get into the tournament? 100%?
Oh, 100%. Come on. Yeah. Don't let me retire losing to Duke at 9 a.m., 21-12. I've been here for 30 years. Let me go out losing in a regional to an SEC team. Come on. Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Again, great career. I just don't think with a non-conference strength of schedule of 238, that's brutal. Now, their ACC schedule was rough, and they went 14-16 against what ended up being the 27th best strength of schedule. And his argument was we had to play the best teams in the ACC, which is a valid one, and they held their own. But I just don't know if it's enough to get in. TCU also may have played its way onto the very extreme bubble. They were probably safe in going into the Big 12 tournament, but then they lose to Kansas State last night in the first game. They dropped to 46 in the RPI. Now, they still went 17-13 in the Big 12, and they have a mid-40s RPI. So I think they're in, but
it's a bad Big 12, man.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's just the bottom line is I feel like the later you play in the week, and hopefully for ECU's sake they win Friday, that way you automatically advance to Saturday. And by the time you get to Saturday, there's only a couple teams from every conference remaining. I just feel like the later you go into the week, you give yourself a better shot. It's just easy for the committee to start writing teams off.
Yeah, I think so. That's for sure. Now with TCU, is that double elimination?
That
I
was
can't
single
keep up,
elimination,
man. Okay.
Big 12, I believe.
Yeah. I just can't keep up. It's gotten so crazy now. So yeah, I mean, that's definitely going to help you. But also, like you said, more conferences are protecting their top teams. Now, a lot of the leagues who are protecting their top teams are in, right? So because we're battling against the 5th, 6th, 7th place team from a lot of these leagues. So that helps, but yeah, you hope they're writing teams off, but as soon as you go out there and shoot yourselves in the foot, your shooting yourself in the foot could be more fresh in the committee's mind than some team that lost on Tuesday. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a double-edged sword.
Other notable news, Coastal Carolina played a crazy game with Louisiana. Louisiana, another bubble team. They're probably safely in now. They've won 3 out of 4 against Coastal. They're up to 36 in their RPI. I think they're probably in. They were projected in going into the week, so not a huge change there. But you have other Sun Belt teams like Texas State, which is now in the top 40 in RPI. Troy, I think, ended up getting a win. There's a lot of bubble teams in the Sun Belt. I don't think all will make it in, but I expect a couple of them too. Other than that, I mean, it hasn't been anything too crazy yet, Phillip. I mean, Memphis did put the hammer down on Charlotte. Charlotte tried to make a comeback, but they are who we thought they were. They're one and done in Clearwater.
But we did not let them off the hook because we swept.
Yeah, we didn't let them off the hook. We kicked them while they're down. FAU, tough way to go out. What are you looking for today, if anything, whether it be American tournament or other action?
Mercer against Wofford, obviously. You're keeping an eye on Conference USA. You're keeping an eye on the Sun Belt, making sure the teams that are supposed to win continue to win. And, I mean, I guess it's not great for a resume builder if you play the Shockers. But, damn, would I much rather play the Shockers than Rice? Yeah.
Wichita State and FAU both basically used their entire starting pitching staff yesterday. If Wichita didn't use one of its best closers, relievers, and they have their opener, Dak Sharp, I think of his name. If Wichita gets through Rice today, I don't know what they'll have left for Friday. Rice has like 2 to 3 legit starters. So I think if for ease of victory, you're pulling for Wichita, but for resume, like you said, you're pulling for Rice. So, but the last thing you need is to play Wichita and lose to a 140 RPI team. I mean, that would hurt
that's your own damn fault. Then you can look in the mirror if you do that one.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, let's get our final break in. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit about the watch along and also get back into a few of these football comments before we get out of here on a Thursday. We'll be right back.
The power of savings is yours at Greenville Toyota with powerful deals on our huge selection of new Toyotas, like a Camry, $229 a month, or the all-new RAV4, $279. Don't miss the power of savings at Greenville Toyota.
In Eastern North Carolina, hard work matters, and it always has. At Flatlands Insurance Group, we've been showing up for our neighbors since 1963, helping families and business owners navigate change, weather tough seasons, and keep moving forward. Decades later, our purpose hasn't changed: to help protect what you've poured your time and energy to, from your home to your health to whatever comes next. Flatlands Insurance Group, your whole world covered.
Need cash for a vacation? National Finance Company is here to help. For over 50 years, National Finance Company has been the small loan specialist with loans from $1,000 to $5,000 with low payments to meet your budget. We're in the business of getting you the cash you need today. Apply online for a loan at one of our convenient branch offices and get your money as fast as today. It's easy. Get the vacation cash you need. For extra cash, visit nfcmoney.com.
Your future is full of possibilities, and Pitt Community College can help you explore every option. You can earn a degree, learn a trade, transfer to a university, or launch a new career. We offer the support you need to succeed with flexible schedules, affordable tuition, and programs designed for the real world. Your path, your future, your college. Pitt Community College. Register now.
Visit Larry's Steakhouse for a tender, hand-cut certified Angus ribeye. Other entrees include perfectly seasoned pork chops, chicken or seafood favorites like shrimp, tuna, and salmon. Complement your meal with Larry's fresh 20-plus item salad bar, or enjoy it as an all-you-can-eat entree. Daily rotating favorites include meatloaf, chicken pastry, hamburger steak, spaghetti, pork chops, and more, all complemented with your favorite country sides. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or our Sunday brunch, remember to support and eat local. Larry's Steakhouse.
The hunting and fishing event of the summer comes to the Greenville Convention Center, July 11th and 12th, bringing together the best hunting and fishing vendors, outfitters, and fishing experts, all under one roof. Special free events, including a mountain trout pond, indoor archery range, offshore fishing experience, interactive duck blind, and free seminars. Don't miss it. The Mid-Atlantic Hunting and Fishing Expo is July 11th and 12th.
With new Toyota trucks from $259 a month, you've got the power of savings at Greenville Toyota. Drive Tacomas $259 a month or Tundras only $399 a month at Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Loyal and bold, we're the purple and gold.
Yo ho ho!
And we're back to hoist the colors with Stephen Igo on 94.3 The Game.
All right, welcome back in. Final segment here. Hoist the colors. We were talking earlier, a lot of ECU football, and we got a couple comments. Philip and I both took the over 7.5, way too early over here as we sit in mid-May. But if you want to, you can go ahead and throw the bets down. RB Pirate was in the chat. He's got a couple questions. Number one, he said, should we go ahead and book our Military Bowl hotels? As Philip, another 8-win season might put ECU back in the Military Bowl. I have to think there's no way they go there 3 years in a row, right?
Yeah, I would say probably not. I mean, the Military Bowl does have one of the first picks, and they're going to, obviously bid for ECU because of the crowd. But I think eventually ESPN and the athletic director step in and we do not want to go to the same place 3 straight times. I mean, come on, all the stuff around the bowl, you don't want to keep doing the same thing. Send us somewhere warm. Our boys deserve. They win 8 games that many years in a row. Let them jump in a pool somewhere. Give them the cannonball contest that they do down on. They got a bowl game in Puerto Rico this year. Let's go to that one.
Bowl game in Puerto Rico. We have the Gasparilla Bowl, which is legitimately it's pirate themed, like in Tampa. So Let's do that one, if nothing else. RB Pirate also says, fun chat. What is each quarterback's starting record at the end of the year?
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, we'd have to run all the scenarios here. How many games does each start? Does one start all the games? I'm going to go bold and say that one quarterback starts all the games.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go 8-4 to 9-3 for Emory Williams.
Yeah. I lean Emory Williams. I think Mitch closed the spring with a little lead. And I do think Emory, though, will make it up. But how rarely does that happen where one starts all the games in a legit quarterback battle? We saw it with Garcia went 3-3 as the starter. And then Caden Hauser, I think, went 5 and.
Nah, he only went 2. I think it was 2-4, and then, or 2-3, and then 5-2 because we won 7 games. Oh yeah, you're right. There was, if you count the bowl game, yeah, we won 8 games total. So yeah, I think 3-3 and 5-2. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because they were 3-3 going to Army, and then that was Caden's first start.
Yeah.
3-4, and then he won 5 in a row.
God,
and then
we had 3 wins despite getting throttled by Charlotte. Who the hell did we beat?
UTSA, ODU in a game. Garcia threw 4 picks, and that Norfolk State game where he also threw 3 picks. So, tomorrow's watch along. We are going to go live basically right at 9 a.m. We got to wait for Talk of the Town to clear out the studio, Henry and those guys. So we may be a minute or 2 late getting on the air, but we are going to go live. Shout out to Snipes Insurance for sponsoring the show. We'll have some bagels courtesy of them, and it'll be me, Philip, James Gilio, and Lane Smith set to join us. We'll have 4 and we'll have giveaways throughout the show. Every inning we'll have a giveaway for a free subscription to Hoist the Colors. So I'm excited, Philip, and TBD, if they win, I'm going to try to put something together for Saturday. You'll be out of town, but that is the plan. Now, the real question is, we did get the go-ahead. We are allowed to do some mimosas, so we just got to behave ourselves.
Yeah, we'll behave. But
We'll be fine.
me and James will behave. Nah,
Yeah.
I trust Lane.
We'll be good. But I'm excited, man, and we've gotten a lot of interaction on these in the past. Cue us up, even if you're not listening to us. Cue us up for the video reactions. Listen to Dylan Johnson and Coach O down in Clearwater. But we'll be live and come participate. If nothing else, just for our reactions, as we're always, baseball can kind of, it can kind of drag out a little bit, but like the big moments will be locked in.
If it for some reason drags and gets boring, we'll start quizzing Lane on Phillies history or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll put something together. So looking forward to that, man. We're only 20 hours away from the watch along and ECU baseball in Clearwater. Thanks again to Dylan Johnson. He'll be on the call again for ECU baseball. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you missed your question, I'm sorry. We'll try and circle back at a later date. We got all off-season talk football. We'll see you tomorrow, bright and early for the watch along and for HTC to follow.